Thank you, and good afternoon. San Diegans continue to step up. We're seeing progress. We're seeing continued advancement, and so today we are continuing to move forward with some additional easings of restrictions around parks, outdoor recreational opportunities, and recreational boating. But as we move forward, it is critically important that we not lose our focus, that we not lose our commitment, that we not lose our adherence to all of the things that we are doing to slow the spread of COVID-19. That means as we begin to gradually turn the dial, we have to double down our efforts around physical distancing, face covering, ensuring proper things like hand washing. We have done a good job as a region in flattening the curve and buying ourselves time to build up our capacity, but we do not want to throw away all of that progress by losing our focus as we begin to move forward. We want to continue to move forward. We don't want to see a situation where we have to dial back or turn back. And I think that is particularly important as we head into this weekend. The first weekend where a lot of these things are opened up and accessible, we want to make sure that we continue to be responsible and exercise restraint. We have done a good job to date. Let's keep that moving. Speaking of doing a good job, today Governor Gavin Newsom praised specifically the actions of San Diego. He held us up as a model, and he praised the way that we've gone about the things that we've done. But in that same press conference, he simultaneously pointed out other areas of the state where they have not been as successful in physical distancing, and they have not been as successful in moving forward, particularly with their beaches. Those areas of the states are now being closed and moving backwards. We do not want that to be us, and so let's continue the incredible level of cooperation that we've seen and ensure that as a region we continue to be a model and we continue to be held up and we continue to move forward. There was a lot of activity and a lot of interest about what the governor was talking about or going to talk about today, and I think that there's two lessons that we should all take away from what happened today. The first is the danger to the public remains high. In 2 months' time, more than 60,000 Americans have died of coronavirus. It continues to be very contagious. It continues to have the same ability to overwhelm our healthcare system and dramatically impact our way of life. And so as we ease some of these restrictions, it is vitally important that we continue to exercise restraint, that we continue to adhere to the orders, we continue to follow physical distancing and face coverings. If we do that, we can continue to see success. If not, as was the case today with Orange County and their beaches, which are now closed, the same thing could happen to us here in San Diego, either via the governor or via our own public health officer, who every one of these steps we take, if it becomes something that is compromising public health, we've always said the dial could be turned back. Let's not have that be us. Let's continue to move forward. And then the second takeaway from what happened today is it's vitally important that we wait for official guidance from the official source before we assume what decisions are going to be made. If there is a major announcement from the state of California, the governor will share it with us himself at his press briefings. When I heard the rumor, along with many of you, I called the governor last night, and he said to me exactly, San Diego has been a model. We want to align the rest of the state to what you are doing. And so as we move forward in the difficult days ahead, and we do have difficult days ahead, we are going to have challenges. We're going to have bumps in the road. We're going to have uncertainty. Every now and then, we're going to have miscommunication. As we move forward into this era, let us remain calm, let us remain cautious, and let us remain committed. Today we are making a number of modifications to our public health order. The first, which was mentioned, was extending the stay-at-home order just to be consistent with the state of California. We want to align with them as their order supersedes ours anyway, and so aligning the two together is more of an administrative function to ensure that we move forward together. The other ones I think will be of much greater interest to the public. There are orders around recreation and outdoor activities. It is, as we have said throughout the duration of this, not only is it okay to get outside, it is encouraged. It is encouraged to get outside, to exercise, to walk, to be with your family, to get some sun. We just want to do it responsibly. And so today we are making some changes around parks. Now, to reiterate on parks, local jurisdictions have the authority and ability to choose whether to open or close their parks. They also have the ability to be more restrictive, but not less restrictive than the County of San Diego. We have been working with our local jurisdictions for the better part of the past 2 weeks, and we are now in a position where we can begin easing some of the countywide restrictions that applied to all parks. And so those that we are easing in this current restriction are single family households may participate in active sports activities. Now, to be clear, this does not mean all of your family members who live in different households can come together. It means the individuals who live in one household can go out and play together, whether that be soccer or baseball or frisbee or any of those types of things, but only members of a household. Non-household gatherings may not participate in active sports activities. We are also lifting half of the restrictions on parking lots in parks only. So local jurisdictions may choose to utilize up to 50% of their parking capacity, and locals must have a physical distancing plan that is enforceable, that is appropriately staffed, and ensures that our parks are visited and frequented in a responsible way. And so that order is going into effect. The second one I know will be of great interest to our recreational boating community is that we are lifting the restrictions on recreational boating in our bays, lakes, and ocean. The restriction is that a single household may participate in recreational boating in lakes, bays, and oceans. Again, this is a household. It is limited to households. So no family reunions. When we say a single family, that does not mean every family member you've ever met. It means family members who reside in your household or individuals who are in your household may be out on a boat. No party boats, no party barges. Let's be responsible with this and get out and enjoy this in the appropriate way. When it comes to beaches, we've made very little changes, a few modest clarifications, but the general situation around beaches remains essentially the same. All beach parking lots shall remain closed. Beaches may be used solely for walking, running, hiking, equestrian or bicycle riding where appropriate and authorized by that local jurisdiction. In the water, you can swim, body surf, boogie board, surf, kite surfing, paddle boarding, kayaking, snorkeling, and scuba diving are explicitly allowed in the order. Beaches where social distancing requirements cannot be effectively implemented and enforced by local jurisdictions shall close, and the implementation of these is at the discretion of the appropriate jurisdiction, whether that be a city or the state of California. Local jurisdictions have the ability and discretion to open at their pleasure, to close at their pleasure, or to limit things in ways beyond how we have limited those things. The hope is that as we come out of this, that we can continue to change how we go about life. There's a question of how do you come out of a very restrictive environment and not get a significant spread, and the way that we do that is by the modifications we've all made to our way of life. By coming out of this and really being committed to physically distancing, by coming out of this and being committed to face coverings, by coming out of this and being very committed to hand washing and hygiene, coming out of this and knowing the actions we take if we feel sick. If we do all of those things, only congregating with members of your own household, if we do all of those things, then we believe that we can come out of this without seeing a significant spike in our number of cases, but we must continue to hold the line. The things that could change our continued progress in turning the dial would be a significant spike in our cases and our hospitalizations that would force us to have to stop and begin to dial back. Or if our actions are not consistent with the guidance given. And as a region, we have done such an incredible job together, each and every one of us working to stay at home, to limit our activities, to slow the spread. Our actions have saved lives. As we now begin to move into a new phase, let's ensure that same level of commitment. Let's ensure that same level of action where each and every one of us are making a conscious choice and decision that we will go about our lives in a way that not only protects ourselves and protects others. And if we do that, then as a region, we can continue to see progress and continue to get through this together. A quick update on the homeless situation before we jump into our report from today. We're reporting out of all of the total number of cases in San Diego County, 3,564, 30 of them are unsheltered. Yesterday, 160 were tested at the convention center. We do not have those results yet, but we do have some results from yesterday to today. We have 62 more negatives than we had yesterday, so negatives tests are at 706. Indeterminate is the same. Pending results, 98 more than yesterday. So the total tests administered at the convention center, 1,129, with 2 positive, the rest either negative, indeterminate, or pending. And again, I will have an update for us tomorrow with our plan around T3, testing, tracing, and treatment, which is a key cornerstone of our efforts here at the county. With that, we'll jump quickly into our charts. Today, we're reporting 132 positive tests out of 2,303 total tests that were done. This is a percentage of 6%. Again, the number of tests are less important than the percentage of positive. 6% today is what we are reporting, fairly consistent with yesterday, down a little bit from the day before. Our rolling 14-day percentage and average is at 6.3%. And so we continue to trend in a good direction. We also continue to see testing climb. That is something, again, we would like to, as we move forward, get out of a little bit of the up and down nature of testing and get into more continual growth. There will be day-to-day variations. That's the nature of batching and testing, but we would like to see continued progress here. Our next one is our hospitalization. We're reporting currently 136 COVID-related individuals in ICU, 355 total hospitalizations, COVID suspected or COVID related. Again, you can see the general consistency that we have had here across the board. And then our last chart just shows our positives, our estimated recoveries at 1,963. Hospitalization, what is relevant there is the rate of doubling around hospitalizations at 24. ICU rate of doubling around 36. And again, the rate of doubling for positives is less important to us now as we are seeing an increase in testing. We are going to see an increase in positives, but we do closely monitor and watch the doubling rates of hospitalizations and deaths. That concludes my section. I'll now turn it over to Dr. Wilma Wooten for a public health officer's report.